Welcome, everybody. This is the Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff YouTube channel. My name is Dan C. Bearded. I work with this company on a ridiculously daily, amazing level of helping with marketing and YouTube and ideas and products, you name it. I am probably some way, somehow involved. And this live stream is called Doctor's Orders, where we use this to show you guys glimpses into this company and everything they have going on, getting to know the owners, getting to know the facility, the products. And speaking of owners, this man over here is Dr. Nick. Nick, how you doing today?
What's up, everybody? I'm doing fantastic.
And
It's kind of interesting though. With this whole thing we got going on today. Like, when your mom comes over and she hasn't been over in a while, and you gotta like clean your house really good to make sure there's nothing that she's gonna like point out.
Yep.
I definitely feel like I've been doing like the mom clean of my office today.
For sure. I'll raise you. When my mom comes over, we bought my parents' house, and so it's like extra. Got to have it. Make sure it's cleaned when it's your parents' house.
Yeah,
so
that wasn't like that when you got it. What happened to this?
Yeah.
What'd you do with that?
For sure. So yeah, and we're going to talk about that. But as you guys come in, if you could, you'll see scrolling down at the bottom, two things that we would love would be for you to hit a thumbs up on this video to show that you appreciate it, to tell YouTube that it's going great, and then also to share it. Even if you don't actually share it, if you guys click the share button and click copy link, YouTube registers that as you sharing it. And they say, oh, wow, people like this and they want other people to get involved. So if you guys could hit that thumbs up, if you could share it as you come in, I appreciate everybody in here right now. We have Jill, which is Nick's wife. And actually, while we have you guys nice and early, next week's video is going to be titled Meet Jill. We're going to get to know Jill and who she is, what she does, and all those amazing things. So it's going to be pretty awesome. And special shout out to everybody. We see Melissa in here, Brian B., Evan Johnson, Garrett, Ross, Go Habs, OG Fitzroy, Barlow, Big Bearded Board, Joe, True North. Welcome, everybody. And if you haven't said anything, and I saw Leo earlier, drop a comment in the chat, you guys. We're going to have a giveaway today. We're going to have an amazing tour. And prepare yourselves for this tour. I got a little walkthrough yesterday. This is utterly ridiculous. Like, it is a ridiculous thing that you are going to experience. Are you excited for this, Nick?
Oh, dude, I'm pumped. It's interesting though. Yesterday it's like you were hyping it up and everybody. I'm like, man, I hope I don't disappoint. Like, this is, I'm used to this place. It's just where I go to work every day. So, I'm always, it's to us, we're just used to it. But we walked you through, and you're like, wow, look at this place.
It's crazy.
I'm sure everyone's gonna love it. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna go down some rabbit holes and go chase some squirrels.
For sure. And we do have a giveaway. I'll put the information in the chat for you guys. Just click that link, put in your name, your email address, and then at the end of the show, we will draw that giveaway winner. And it's a pretty cool one. This one is, the coolest thing about it is we'll get to show you guys where it's actually going to be made and all aspects of it being made. You are going to get a fully loaded grooming kit with a custom-made wood stand. So there's going to be a wood stand. Part of the things that we're going to see today is a company that they own that makes woodworking tables, and you name it, they're making it. And they're going to be able to create a stand that's going to hold your balm, your butter, your oil, and you're going to have it from scratch, right? From straight up wood to that finished product, and you get all those products in there. I think this is going to be super cool.
And we're going to give you a video. We'll share it over to your email or Instagram of it actually getting CNC routed out of a piece of wood. So we're going to video that process. So disclaimer on the giveaway, we were excited to do this giveaway last week when we were first talking about it, because this was going to be the first chance we had to put to work a new CNC machine that was going to be building some of these things.
Yep.
We're going to be doing lots of stuff for Dr. Nick's. More on that later. There's going to be lots of anything you've ever seen made in wood from a beard company. Imagine that, but made from tree to dried wood to a product, all in our building. And unfortunately, we had some parts delays with our CNC machine. We weren't able to blast through our last project this past weekend like we had hoped. So you're going to be getting this thing fresh off the press. It's going to ship next Monday. So just know if you win today, it's going to ship next Monday, but it will come complete with a video of the process of it getting made. And we're going to go down and look at all the very sad pieces of my CNC machine right now that is not put together. But we're going to look at it. I was
just going to say, did it come in yesterday?
Yeah, the final pieces came in yesterday. We had one damaged part, but I think we're going to be able to work around it and get it replaced later. But yeah, assembly is taking place this week, and end of this week and this weekend, we're going to be blasting through our first couple of templates that we have made, one of which being this stand, and then a couple others, accessories for the beard itself. There's going to be all kinds of good stuff coming up here.
Yep, we are
It's gonna be
excited.
fun.
And absolutely, yeah, the wait is obviously Brian says that it's worth the wait. Yeah, you're getting it custom made, and that's the beauty of this tour today, guys, is you get to see just how amazing all of this is from top to bottom. One of the things Nick is proud of is everything is in house here. From everything that you get. If you want to touch on that real quick, at least with the beard stuff, where does that come? What's that source of pride for you with this being in house?
Oh man, it's huge. I mean, it's for one, it's a big differentiator, right? I know there's a lot of people out there that do some handmade products and they do it, at various scales. Our goal is to be able to do this at scale. That's why we invested in a commercial facility. That's why we've invested in everything that we've needed to do. We do manually and then replace with automated processes as we hit a tipping point, right? So for me, I mean, this is, it's how I build everything. It's the kind of bootstrapped grassroots way that I love to do stuff because it's got my hands on it, and I know how each piece of it works. I know how it rolls, but literally, this is from end to end. I'll show you guys downstairs. There's kind of a nice linear progression downstairs of concept and ideas to production to packaging to shipping, and it kind of all flows through this one space. And this space is just going to grow. And there's other parts of the building that we can expand into to support that kind of growth and be able to just maintain that style of doing things. But to me, sure, we're all natural. Sure, we're family owned. Sure, we're small business. Sure, we're partially women owned, right? All those things are great flags to wave, and lots of people wave them. What I am most proud of is the fact that we do everything in-house, and we do everything start to finish with our own scratch materials and ingredients. I mean, it's a huge difference when you get something handmade.
Yeah, and I can't wait to show this process and everything from the custom label machine to everything out there. And a couple of things as we get ready for this tour. Brian B says, I watched a bit of a live stream, and that was enough to make an order of 2 oils and a butter. Hey, that we really are focusing on that natural growth, right? We want the marketing to be just getting to know this company and their products and their owners. We believe that is enough to draw people in. And that's beautiful to hear. And we are getting some feedback on some of the products so far. If you guys are new to Dr. Nick's and in the last week or two you have tried products, whether it's been a giveaway or a purchase, please drop a comment. That does nothing but help this company, whether it's adjusting to the feedback or whether it's hearing that it's going well for you. This beard butter was the first launch for Dr. Nick's. It is brand new. And Jake, who is very experienced, said butter is awesome. Haven't used one quite like it. And Craig says, got my first Dr. Nick's order of butter and a stout oil a few days ago, and I'm loving them both. That butter is so smooth.
You hear that, Jill? You hear that? Man, the amount of work that went into getting rid of that, to getting rid of any kind of grit, and especially accounting for what could happen in shipping. From shipping this stuff to ourselves, leaving it on the front porches in the sun, bringing it back in, reconstituting it. Like, we've definitely put it through the ringers. I'm so glad to hear that people are getting our intended product in their hands and it's showing up in good condition.
Yeah, Joe says the butter is absolutely amazing. Mike says their follow-up is amazing. Barlow says, I've been using number 7 for the last few days and it's fantastic. The butter is amazing. We've heard that a few times now. And keep in mind, this is amazing man stuff. So sounds like legitimate advertising to me. And I'm not normally a Balm guy, but that roll-on is something else.
Yeah, and that's funny you say that, man, because I wasn't a Balm guy either. I always had too much of it on my hands. Like I'd scoop some out, I'd emulsify, I'd put it on, and I would always be putting too much in areas where I didn't want it. And that stick applicator, being able to wipe it on your mustache, wipe it down the sideburns, put a little on your hands and bring it down the outside to smooth it.
That butter is already top of the list. Butter was in great condition, 80-degree weather. Jill is saying thank you for the positive feedback. And Joe said I couldn't stop touching it. Yeah, we like to hear those things, man. It was definitely a rigorous process. Jill went through so many different versions and ideas and testers and even like the process of cooling it and the process of making it and stuff. So it's been really fun, and we love hearing that feedback from you guys. And as always, one of the best ways you can support this company for free is just by sharing your experiences on any platforms you have, even if it's just simply a message to Dr. Nix, or if it's a story you post or a reel you make. That does so much for a company that's trying to build it from the grassroots, trying to build it from that community sake. We want a lifestyle brand, not just something that we're throwing money at and on every YouTube ad and stuff. We want to build it from you guys. And the best way you can do that is by sharing what you've experienced. So thank you so much, you guys.
Absolutely. Just to echo that, I mean, there's a lot of companies out there, and Dan has, shown me kind of the behind the scenes of some of these that he's had, experience with and some good looks at. And of course, being in other industries and coming into this, years and years ago and getting sort of used to the community and the flow of things, you can either start off very closed doors. No one knows how you do anything. You do lots of marketing. You grab a ton of market share. And then what happens when companies get big? They start getting this weird idea of, we really need to be transparent with our customers. We really need to show them who we are, right? And that's like after they're already well breached that 1,000 order a week mark. And we think a much better way to do it is you start with that transparency from day one, and you get people to invest in your products and buy your products because they like your story, they believe in you, and they believe in your products and your process. And then that will grow. And if you have transparency from the beginning, the audience you have and the customers you have are you guys, right? It's this community. Like half the people that are in here recognize each other in chats. They talk to each other, right? I mean, that's what we want. Yep. And if you think about a big faceless name out there somewhere, if they had a big party somewhere and everybody, that's all their customers came, how many people would be standing there by themselves? And maybe they know one or two other people. I feel like if we took our entire customer list and invited them all and teleported them all to a party, half of them would all know each other.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. At least. At least. And it would be amazing. And that's the goal. And we plan on maintaining that as we scale all the way to the point where it's not possible to maintain it anymore. And then we draw back. Nick is very, very serious about having this as a lifestyle brand, as a community brand. They will never do something that's outside of their scope.
Yeah. 1,000%. I mean, it's, get in where you fit in and stay there.
Yep.
Right?
And then here's exactly. Yeah. And Leo says, my white beard can't say enough about your oil. I haven't used butter in years and my beard seems too thin for balm, but man, that oil.
Mm-hmm. Leo, it's so funny. Whenever I get emails from you, Leo, you remind me a lot of my stepdad, who's probably watching here. It's so funny. I could get rid of the names at the top of the email and read them, and I wouldn't be able to tell your emails apart. So
that's great.
I think once you apologized for overstaying your welcome with too many questions, never, my friend. Keep them coming. We love talking to you.
Yep. And again, reach out. All aboard, whether it's Nick, myself, or Joe. We take pride in a fast turnaround time getting back to you guys and handling it on an individual basis. You have a local, it's a Long a Life podcast. Pretty stoked to be watching this. Literally just got my first order of butter and oil. I'm local to Dr. Nick's, and I'm pumped to support a local company.
Right on. Absolutely. Right on. Thank you.
Awesome. And again, guys, that giveaway is going to be a link in the chat. Put your name and email. We'll draw it at the end of the show after the tour. And you're going to get a custom-made wood stand that we get to show you where it's going to be made. And it's going to be filled with the complete lineup of oil, balm, and butter. So cool. Thanks, you honor me. Absolutely. Yeah, Leo's fantastic. And he's always supporting, always asking great questions, always giving great food for thought, man. It's what it's all about. It really is.
It is.
And we're going to get ready for the tour. But first, I want Nick to touch on this because I want to let you guys let this sink in a little bit. The facility that they have, that they own, is 8,600 square feet, right? Think about that in terms of compared to your house or your apartment, just how massive that is. And this facility contains 4 companies that they own. Dr. Nick's Amazing Man Stuff, this beard company that we have right now. Also, Bigfoot Slabs, which is their woodworking company. That part's going to blow your minds. And I'm not even setting this up for failure. It's going to blow your mind. Also, Interisec, which is, explain what Interisec is. Cybersecurity.
Yep, it's a cybersecurity software company. We specialize in network traffic telemetry for finding, for essentially finding network vulnerabilities and threats for enterprises.
Awesome. And then also Moonrock. And Moonrock is your consulting side of cybersecurity, correct?
Yep, exactly right. That's the human side, essentially, to the software side of Interisec. And Moonrock is, we always joke around. We're like a little cell of like 6 people that defend the world's largest companies from being on the front pages of big newspapers. So, it's a lot of fun work. Lately, it's been a lot of ransomware hunting, right? We've been dealing with a lot of ransomware engagements. We work with a ton of businesses, Fortune 500 companies. And when I'm not here live streaming with you guys or answering questions with email, I am definitely talking to, cybersecurity companies, cyber insurance companies, and the FBI is kind of like my typical day-to-day phone conversations about hunting that stuff down.
So wild. So we're going to see their server room. We're going to see the office where everybody works. This is so cool. So cool, you guys. So again, if you just came in and you did not already, please hit that thumbs up because we are about to get this tour started. Nick, are you ready to make the switch here?
I'm ready. I'm going to switch earpieces and we're going to grab the gimbal and go.
Okay, you guys, so I'm going to get Nick in here. The audio will be different, but it's going to be a lot of Nick talking, me kind of guiding comments, maybe pop it in here or there, but essentially this is going to be a tour from Dr. Nick. So get ready, guys. This is super exciting. And hey, man, I love to hear stuff like this. Look at this comment we have from Whiskers and Whiskey says, I'm in New Hampshire, and I hadn't heard of Dr. Nick's until you mentioned it yesterday, Dan. Thanks. Very cool, man. Very cool. I do a lot of before videos at work on cybersecurity. Perfect. Hey, Mark, welcome, guys. Welcome. All right, let's go ahead and get ready. I'm going to drop him here. I will bring him back in over here and adjust the view. And this is going to be a walking tour, guys, a walking tour of the facility. Oh, and Mike H., trust me, we've discussed it, and I'm just waiting on the call. Once it happens, I will be out there, Dr. Nick's, for a week or whatever we can make happen, and it's going to be content craziness.
Can you hear me?
Yep, absolutely.
Sweet. All right, the earpiece is working. All right, so we're gonna do a quick tour in here. So we've had some questions about the wall, the background of all these videos here, and I think it's probably important to point out here. I'm going to flip the camera around, actually. It's a good time to do that. Here we go. So this studio wall here, we did a while back. So I was downstairs in the office for a long time. And this space was up here. And it was just this awesome room with these big beams, really cool stuff. And you walk in and it's just this whole building is built sort of like an upside down ship with these giant beams, and these go all the way down into the basement, three floors down. And we'll go take a closer look at them. But as I moved up here, I was using a virtual background for a while, and I'm like, why would I use a virtual background when I have this whole canvas here to make use of? So I basically got some extra paint from around the building that we had for other projects and kind of mapped it out with some tape and some paint, and then I basically went around the whole room, and then the studio side of the room kind of has a negative design of that whole space. So that's where I'm sitting whenever we're doing these guys here. And you guys see behind me, but I have something nice to look at as well, besides Dan's beautiful face.
Stop it.
Oh, stop it. Look at him. He's getting all misty. All right. So where we are now in the building, just to kind of give you guys a little bit of, orientation, is we are basically on the 3rd floor. So the 1st floor is the wood shop, halfway below grade on a concrete slab. 2nd floor is kind of the main floor in from the parking lot. And then if I walk out of my studio room here, you kind of got this cool catwalk area that looks into the downstairs areas. And it's this old 80s architecture. Fun fact, the building was built in 83, same year I was born. And so, of course, it was just meant to be. But you basically have this cool catwalk kind of a setup that goes over to my studio. So you walk up, and it's really the only thing over there. You come up these stairs right here, and away you go. And you walk right across there into the studio. And we will check out more of upstairs in a moment. But for now, let's make the journey. Audio and video looking good, Dan?
Absolutely. Sounds perfect. I did a slight adjustment on my side to take the mic level down a bit, but I think it should be good. Everything looks good, sounds good.
So what we'll do is we'll just pretend we're walking in from the outside here. We'll do a quick look. We've got tons of weather out here today. See, we're surrounded by trees out here in the woods in Pembroke, Massachusetts. And we have the signs of all of our madness here on the door. and of course our office manager. You got to have your resident office manager making sure he's keeping track of things for you.
And Nick, you said it was built in '83. What was it built for originally? Leo wants to know.
So it was built as a father and son team of mechanical engineers, and they built this space, and their shop was down here where our wood shop is now, down those stairs. They had up through here, and then up there is actually where they lived. One of their rooms was over there, and the other room is where my studio is. And so they built that back in '83. Yeah, and they ran that until I think the early '90s, and it was purchased by the company that we then bought it from. That company, I'll show you some remnants of them. They were a hydraulic pressed gasket company. So they made these crazy silicone gaskets, and the whole downstairs was just loaded with these hydraulic press machines, which was fantastic for turning into a wood shop because we had all the electrical we'd ever need. So it kind of planned itself, really interesting.
Yep.
But these are the beams I was talking about. If anyone likes wood and cool wood stuff out there, check these big monsters out. They're so cool. I had a buddy of mine that works in modern commercial construction, and he's like, dude, you cannot build a building with this kind of wood anymore. He's like, each one of those beams would be like $50,000. He's like, you'd have $1 million of wood beams in here before you're even done. Jeez. So it's just remnants of older construction. But you see what I mean about it kind of being built like the hull of a ship, like an upside down boat. Like that would be the hull, and this is where you'd come down, right? So it literally is. It's like built like an old church or upside down boat. So let's start with Dr. Nix. What do we think? Is that where we should start?
Absolutely.
I think so. All right. So we come in here with our super official shop sign. And we kind of walk back into our shipping and receiving area. So if you kind of look where we are here, this is sort of a back door that gets to go out. We can do large pickups out here. So we kind of just stage up boxes and stuff for shipping out here. We keep a lot of our bulk oils, things like this back here in a nice cool storage rack, big old bag of shea butter just chilling. And then we kind of walk into the main room here. So we're going to be walking backwards from shipping to packaging to production to inception and creation. And there's Jill. She's way back there. And so this is sort of the look from inside, looking back at the room we were just in. And we kind of come around the room. This is where we do a lot of our sample formulations. So you'll see huge racks of just essential oils everywhere here on the walls for Jill to play with and come up with different scent profiles, testing bottling machines. We kind of come down here, and here's the whole production line where you kind of walk down this line. And this is where we do everything, where we start off, for example, if Jill's working on butters. This is where butters start off, hence all of the butter tubs just kind of hanging out, getting ready for the magic to happen.
Ready for you guys.
That's it. Just ready, man. And then, so these are some of the things I was pointing out and talking about before. You look at some of the weird packaging we have. There isn't a co-packer in the world that would put up with our little rectangle bottles here, for example, right? We've talked to a bunch of people that even don't just do, co-packing, but will just do co-labeling. And so we had this machine custom made. And if you look, it fits our bottle perfectly in that little metal slot. And you literally roll the bottle and it applies the label.
So cool.
So this was custom made by a guy out in New Mexico, a guy called Race Labels. And these machines are the only ones like it in the world. I mean, each one is set up with tooling. You have to send him your bottles. And he actually sets up all the aluminum, gets CNC'd to match the shape and size of your bottle profile so they click right in. And so we do have a half manual, half automated bottling process for these bottles. But I have the supply of these bottles on lockdown for right now. And I think, barring any major events, we're going to stick with the packaging regardless of how difficult they are to deal with, because we love them, and so do our customers. And the feedback from you guys has been great. But like these, much simpler, like little butter tubes. This has another little guide again. Pop it on, roll the bottle, and away you go. You got a labeled bottle. So, the everything from the labeling process, the machines that even do our labeling are custom handmade, right? There's just nothing mass produced about anything we do. And so we kind of get everything ready, and then we bring things over here to our big giant packaging table, 16-foot monstrosity here. Got a bunch of number 7s ready to roll, it looks like.
My favorite.
Sexy. And then again, just stuff getting ready to get shipped, right? You got your sanitary area with stainless steel desks and tables everywhere. That's where things go, and they get clean, they get polished, they get ready and staged up for shipping. And from this point, they're ready to go into our bubble mailers and out that door. And here, again, walking backwards, office manager asleep on the job. Don't know about that. Hi, Jill.
Hi, Jill.
And we see Jill. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause for a minute, take a little breather. I'm going to put this down, and then with any luck, I'll be able to flip this back around. Hey, there we go. Cool. And there we are. Sweet. So this is basically, I'm sitting in Jill's seat, by the way. She moved over there just for this. So I'd have a cool wall behind me and not her whiteboard full of crazy ramblings. So here we are, though. I mean, this is where Jill basically works on everything, start to finish. This goes with me sitting across from her over there, her over here, and we go back and forth about anything that we're working on, whether it's a new product, whether it's new scents. This is where I get a lineup of bottles in front of me to put stuff in my beard throughout the day when I'm taking a lunch break from upstairs. But everything literally gets essentially designed and formulated right here. It goes into production right over there. And then from there, right to packaging, right back out of the door. And this is where we receive all of our live ingredients. This is where we receive all of our packaging, right? There's nothing that we receive here and then ship out somewhere else to get packaged or to get formulated or mixed or blended. We do all of it right here. So percent in-house, not kidding. We are 100% in-house. And it's really, like we said upstairs, it's great, right? I mean, we could have done this a lot of ways. We could have done this probably in a more cost-effective way as well. But there's just nothing better than being able to say that you actually manage a process start to finish. On top of the product, I think, you being able to really tell in the final product, it's just, like you said, Dan, it's a sense of pride. It really is. There's not too many things left in the world today that are handmade, small batch, actually made in-house. It's hard to come by. And so, why would we change it, right? Save a couple of pennies here or there for the sake of scaling. I'd rather add people, right? I'd rather employ more family and more friends and more people in the area, right? I think that we're making a personalized product, and it's something that's an intimate product for people, right? It's on your face. And it's in your beard, which is obviously a very personal addition to yourself, right? And I think it's one of those things where it deserves that kind of attention. So that's why we do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, keep the comments coming. I know that Nick and Jill's paying crazy attention back there, but Nick will come back and watch so many ones. James, the bearded metal chef, my buddy, says this company absolutely needs to be shared by everyone.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good.
I think what happened is as I was talking, a call came in and it killed my audio to the phone. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay.
Yeah, it was different, but it was fine. May have even been a little better, but no, you were good.
That's what it was. You were just picking me up on my microphone audio. So now I got you back in here so I can at least hear what you're saying now. And I put on Do Not Disturb. So hopefully we don't get bumped out again by another incoming call. The joys of mobile phone video. So, is there any questions popping up in the chat that we should talk about, Dan? I can't see your pop-ups here when I'm on this mobile view. So is there anything we should be talking about?
Not much. Jill's doing a great job of addressing all the questions. Like Brian B asked about Christmas scents, and Jill said plenty, lots of future fall and winter scents. So if there's something that seems like I need to interject, I'll throw it to you. But Jill's just holding it down strong right now.
As always.
Yep.
Well, right on. Let's get this show on the road then. Let's keep going. Yeah. I'm going to flip the camera back around and we will continue on down. All right. Say bye, Jill.
Bye, guys.
And also, if you guys were not here at the start, next week's Doctor's Orders live stream title is going to be Meet Jill. She'll be on for the whole show. We'll get to know Jill, who she is, her background, and what she does at the company.
That's right. So one last look. We'll give everybody a good 360. Here we go, all the way around the 1200 suite part of the building that is Dr. Nick's. And there we go. Soon, you know, with the way this is going, though, I think I'm going to have to say bye-bye to my conference room that we're going to see here soon, because I see this going from this room and taking over that room for production.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, my days of my 14-foot conference table are numbered.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to see that, did we?
No, it's going to be right in there. Little teaser. We'll walk out that way down to the wood shop.
Perfect.
We'll just take a quick stop into cybersecurity land here. You know, you don't picture this living behind most production rooms for a beard oil company. Like, our tax appraiser comes in and he's like, "What do you guys do?" And we're like, "We make beard products and wood products." And he comes in here and he's like, "Do you also mine lots of Bitcoin? Because what's all this about?"
Yeah, right.
And so, you know, this is basically the brains that runs our entire pre-production technology lab. So we do everything in here from testing our code and validating our processes. We generate artificial network traffic to be able to profile and gather telemetry data to look for the type of threats that we're looking for and the types of communication profiles that we build. And then once in a while, we even take things in what they call a sandbox environment, and I'll dedicate one system to run a piece of malicious code that we might catch. So if we catch an interesting variant of ransomware, an interesting piece of malware, we can actually execute, we can capture and then run and then study between these lab boxes down here and up here. And we can actually watch the behavior of that ransomware and those viruses so that we can effectively profile them on a network to help people identify when they might be in their environment. You know, little fun detour from beards for a second. What most people don't know is that when you are, you know, dealing with threats and viruses, ransomware, things like that, what's really interesting is there's this metric called dwell time, which is the measurement of how long something is in your environment before it either does something destructive or before it's detected. And the average time last year was 120 days. So Think about that. That means that a big bank, a big financial institution, a big airline company could have someone in their environment for half a year before they ever know it. And so we like to catch those types of variants and track them so we know what they look like, so people can bring that dwell time down and detect these types of threats sooner. So again, not all heroes wear capes. I keep mine under my hoodie. But this is what we do here all day.
And quick question while you're in here. Jose says, "I'm really interested in getting into cybersecurity field. Any advice?"
Oh, absolutely, man. So the cybersecurity field's blowing up like crazy. And the nice thing about it is it doesn't even matter really what level you get into it anymore, because it's so quick, full of advancement that we need people. The whole cybersecurity field needs people that are able to learn and adapt. And what you know coming out of school or coming out of anywhere else is far less important than your aptitude of learning dynamic situations. And so get in wherever you can. I think a lot of people worry about, hey, we need to get back to school. We need to do this or do that before, you know, we dive in. And I think I've said it a bunch in the classes that I teach and everything else. Whatever level you're in, if you can get anything that's relevant in the field, jump into it, because the advancement is so fast, because a lot of these skills aren't things you can even learn in school. So the people that I work with and the people that I help place at other big companies, I help out with lots of contracted interviewing where I actually pre-screen people for a lot of big companies that are going to be hiring into their cybersecurity teams. And I'm more interested on someone's ability to learn new stuff than I am about what they know, because each environment you're going to work in doing that is so different. The stuff you learn in school is a great basis, but don't think that that sets the bar for where you're going to be in a year or 2 years or 3 years without continued education, because learning that on the job and the experience is far more valuable than anything you can do. So don't wait, I guess, is my point, right? If you have an opportunity, take it. And if you don't, find a way to get your foothold in somewhere that can help you out. Or reach out to us. I have so many people that are looking for good cybersecurity people right now. I have nowhere near enough recommendations to send them. So always feel free to reach out to us with that.
Love that. Yeah, great answer. And I agree, pretty much any field, it's not what you know, it's what you can learn. And I've learned so much since working with this company and Nick's background on all this. It's been really cool.
And so we've exited the lab here. This is where we came from. This is my old office that's now pretty much emptied out, where I used to be doing some of these. Again, equally cool with the beams and stuff,
Yeah.
but wasn't as good of a studio condition with the main road right out here. The window in front of me is a little noisy sometimes. But basically we walk out of these rooms here and we walk right through our conference room, which we have our new conference table that Bigfoot's making us downstairs. It's still sitting here on temporary legs, but this is a 14-foot piece of Eastern pine, single slab. Got some really cool work. It was a discounted slab from our wood supplier because of some cracks and some staining and some other stuff, which I think just makes it look cooler. And then Tom downstairs in the wood shop put in these awesome inlays to basically keep this crack in the table, but just stabilize it. So we're going to be doing our final stain and finish on this guy. We kind of wanted to see what it wanted once it was in the room. But it kind of looks like stitches. You know, it's really cool where it holds the tension of these cracks. He does impeccable bow tie work on the ends to hold together end cracks. That's just a piece of inlaid walnut inside of the big piece of pine that basically keeps the tension off of this crack that you see. So that way you don't have to fill the crack, you leave it, but it's never going to continue up the piece of wood because this bow tie starts holding all the pressure.
That's crazy. 14 feet, you said, right?
Oh yeah, 14 feet. It's a monster. And so some of the stuff that we just kind of waiting either to get shipped or other things, like Bigfoot makes these really cool inlaid end grain butcher blocks that are just fantastic. This, believe it or not, is a 2-piece floating shelf. But you can't even tell it's 2 pieces. You can kind of see the joint right here a little, but really not much. And these get mounted onto a wall with no brackets. All the brackets are built into the wood. They're all inlaid. So this just literally floats on your wall like that.
Wow.
And looks really cool. And so this is the kind of stuff that we're going to be doing for the stand though, is this is like a drink paddle for like a flight, for like a beer flight or something like that at a brew pub. And so the things that we're going to be doing for the beard, the grooming kit stand is going to be very similar to this. This is a piece of cherry. The stuff that we make for boards and serving trays, charcuteries, these cool paddles, just great. And then this is a blank. This is epoxy, and that's wood. And so these turn into something like this in the CNC machine, or this was cut by hand before a CNC machine, but in the future, these blanks will be cut out by the CNC. And then if you think about when we go down to the wood shop, we'll kind of point out some more of that, but this basically starts off as a destroyed piece of wood that has no home, would be normally discarded. And we take it in a form, we fill that form full of epoxy resin. We then clean that up, cut out a shape, sand and oil, and turn it into something beautiful. And I'll give you an example of what that epoxy looks like polished. It's really neat. We'll walk on the way down to the wood shop, the world's biggest whiteboard. And so just to give you guys an idea, this is a piece that's waiting to go out. This is what the epoxy, and if it's in orange, will look like when it cures. So this is a bench, and it's an epoxy river. And this is a piece of burled maple from the South Shore, Massachusetts, filled with orange epoxy. And you cannot feel this transition. Like when you feel this surface, it feels like one continuous smooth surface across that wood. And for anybody that's enjoying that, once I rub this wood for about another 30 seconds, it starts charging about a minute. So we got to be careful.
That's amazing. So
you get these cool little islands in there though, and like these cool edges, the way it kind of flows. It's just really neat. And it's on these cool cast iron legs. Bigfoot does the same thing Dr. Nix does. We like to do everything small and by hand when possible. And like these legs that are on this guy is a single man shop in Arizona who makes these legs. And you see this guy in his videos, he's like pouring melted cast iron wearing like flip flops, and like he's a one-man shop. And so we order this stuff and he ships them out. He used to be in Massachusetts, hence the old Mass stamps. He's since moved, but he keeps his casting stamps. So that piece is waiting to go out. Super fun. All right. Well, let's make the journey. Let's go downstairs, and hopefully, if my new mesh Wi-Fi here holds strong, we won't lose you guys. But we'll go down the staircase here. The space we're about to walk into is 3,600 square feet by itself.
Jeez.
And it's just a massive shop. And, you know, kind of walk into one point here, the door kind of dumps you out into the center of this room. And let's start from the front. So the stuff we bring in here, again, we do everything I do is like this. When I say this, I'm not kidding. I'm being 1,000% genuine. We do everything that I do by hand, and I do from scratch, and I do from raw materials. So we work with local arborists, local tree companies to bring in local mill yards, where we will get someone who has a tree, might be an interesting one. We bring that to a mill yard that's right down the road here, and he turns that into these big, thick slabs of slices of that tree. We then take these big slices of wood that we have, these giant slabs, and most people would have someone dry them. They would have another place to get them ready, whatever it might be. Nope, not us. We take that wet wood, 50% relative moisture, and we bring it in to this big rusty beast.
This is crazy, by the way.
So this guy, like, you look at the steel that this thing's made out of, right? This whole thing is made out of steel this thick in a skin. This chamber weighs 15,000 pounds. It weighs 7.4 kilograms. And we moved this in here. We hired a rigging company to take this over from another wood shop that had it. But basically what this does, this big chamber, this big door right over here closes when you bring this cart in, and the cart literally sits on railroad tracks. So you have this giant cart that rolls in, stacked full of wood, 48 inches tall. It comes in here, this big 4-ton hydraulic press presses down on the stack of wood. It then, with this pressure gauge here, we'll show you, it drops down to -1 atmosphere. And I don't know if anybody is a physics nerd out there, but water at atmospheric levels boils at 212 degrees. Everyone knows that. At -1 atmosphere, water boils at about 110, 120 degrees. So what happens is this giant control box here, that thing's about 6 feet tall. It's taller than I am, probably a little shorter than Dan. And this big monster basically pumps electrical current through these sheets that are laying with the wood. That current causes heat inside the wood. And since water evaporates and boils at 120 degrees and -1 atmosphere, that negative pressure created in this chamber essentially vaporizes that water at about 120 degrees, taking it from, a year per inch of thickness down to about 14 days for 2 to 3 inch thick stock. So when we say that we're going to be hand making you something for Dr. Nick's, or when we say that these new products that you're going to see coming out from Dr. Nick's are handmade, we don't just mean that we're taking in wood from a lumber yard and putting it in the CNC machine and turning it into something cool. We're literally taking it from raw stacks of wood that come from just slices of a tree all the way over, drying it, bringing it over here, flattening it into a usable piece of lumber, then cutting it, putting it onto the CNC, cutting out the shapes that we're going to be using for our products, and then hand finish sanding and oiling them. And by the way, the oil that's going to be going onto the woods is a variant of our beard butter. We're going to call it wood butter. And we're going to use our own oil mixtures to oil these pieces of wood. So very different than what you're going to see from most things that are claimed to be handmade. This is not only handmade, but hand sourced. We like to call it hand forged. And so that's basically the kind of flow, of the things that happen in the wood shop. You see everything that you'd normally see in a big, industrial wood shop, big industrial table saws, big, gigantic 220 plane, jointers. Got this monster of a planer sitting here, brings stuff through and flattens things out for you if we get something narrow enough to fit through it. Big, giant industrial jointers. And then I was so hoping to have a setup CNC machine here to show you guys, but instead we get to see parts. So here's in the back part of the shop. This is a big 16-foot workbench that we have set up back here to kind of have just a workflow area. And here is the some assembly required, air quotes, CNC machine. For example, they say, hey, step 1, assemble a wheel. And it includes 2 bearings, a wheel, and a spacer. And then it says, go do that 38 times and then unpause the video. So every step of this 2-hour video has about 15 minutes to an hour of work with each step, and it's 2 hours long. So I'm guessing we have our work cut out for us here, but this is going to start today. And our first piece is going to get carved out of something like this little piece of maple that we make up out of another piece of board. And we're going to carve our stand out of that. And then we're going to laser it to be customized for Dr. Nick's and sent out to you guys. So, you know, everything that you get from us, whether it's something you purchased or whether it's something that's in a giveaway or like the box that was previously in a giveaway, that's how this stuff is made. We're not contracting it. We're not outsourcing it. And so here's like just a view of some of these really cool pieces. This is a piece of like tulip poplar. Look how thick this is. Like, here's my hand on it. And it's a massive piece of wood. And you get these cool cracks. We fill them with epoxy and, you know, pieces of wood that just would get discarded otherwise. We turn into just works of art that it wouldn't be usable for normal purposes. But for furniture and cool looking stuff, boy, it's just awesome. And then I can kind of look down here. Each one of these slabs here that you see is about 300 pounds. This is a whole tree that's been cut into slices and been dried by us and waiting to get turned into desks and bars and kitchen islands and end tables, dining room tables, etc. We have our epoxy room, but I think it's being temperature controlled right now, so I won't open it. But
did you show the machine that goes over and gets it all even?
Oh yeah, our slab jig, our flattening jig.
This one's crazy.
Yeah, so there are machines out there that do this, but they start at about $120,000 and go up from there. So we haven't invested in one of those yet, but what we have until then is this giant slab table. It's like our operating table for slabs. You hold the slab down with these little slab dogs, they call them right here. And what happens is everyone knows how a router works and what a router is. And if I can tilt the camera up here, I think I can even see under it a little bit. Yeah, not quite. But the idea is that this router literally passes back and forth across this piece of wood to take off the high spots. So you can see that this is cut and this is raw. So that router goes back and forth across this piece of wood, taking off the high spots, and then you lower it and you go down another pass. You lower it about an 1/8 inch at a time. And if you think here, we have about a 3-inch thick piece of wood that will end up being about 2 inches thick by the time it's usable. So it's lots of passes on that router. It's an old school way of doing it with some power tool enhancements, but it is very much the old world way of flattening wood and getting usable material with some nice modern day aluminum enhancements.
Right.
But it is quite the process. Thankfully, the guy, Tom, who may or may not be watching here us walk around his shop, he's out on a job, but he knew we were going to be doing video of the shop today. So he's like, oh, okay, I'll join. And so he was, thank God he's like 6.5 feet tall, because otherwise you would not reach across this damn table holding on to that thing, which is not an easy task. So right. Bigfoot Tom takes care of all those things.
So cool.
But, yeah, look at this monster. Like, here's my foot next to this piece of wood.
Wow.
And that's a piece of maple. And that'll be turned into probably a coffee table with all the cracks filled with epoxy. It ends up looking really, really cool. But that's the wood shop, guys. All 3,600 square feet of it right down here. And we can journey back upstairs if you think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we got about It's 150 right now, so we'll get our giveaway. We'll do a wrap up, and man, we got 55 people in right now. We appreciate you guys all. We are live every Tuesday at 1 p.m. We have a couple previous episodes that I will highly encourage you guys to go check out if you want to get to know Nick, different products, what the company does. If you loved the knowledge, if you loved the investment in this video, go check back to video 1 and hear more specifically about the Beard Company. Hear more about what they do. I told you guys, I was excited for this for a reason. How freaking cool was that? How cool was that to see everything that we have? All right, you want me to bring you back, Nick?
Sure.
All right. We're going to bring Nick back in traditionally here and get him back in the stream. But man, I thought that was, and once you come back, Nick, you are muted on this side. So just whenever you're ready.
All right, I'm muted on the phone and unmuted here, so I think we're good.
So cool. So cool. So any final words, thoughts about the facility that you think might be useful to know?
Well, you know, it's one of those things where I guess if I think about it, watching this from the outside, I imagine when I've watched things like this in the past, that, you know, you could get a kind of a must be nice feel, or wow, how'd you land that? How'd that happen? And, you know, I do like telling this kind of grassroots part of the story too, is that, you know, we bought this place during the pandemic, right? We were looking for 1,000 square feet, I think, and we were going to rent 1,000 square feet out of this building. It fell through because the people that were going to rent it ended up wanting to sell it. So we worked with the SBA, and we worked with some of the funds that were available, you know, through our bank, and we were able to get a financing deal that basically we told them what we could afford a month, and they made it work. And it came through, and I guess this is, I don't know, the part of this I like getting into is, this is my example of it never hurts to ask, right? You know, if we would have said, oh, well, it's going away, and we would have left it at that, I mean, we wouldn't be here, right? We'd still be making stuff in a crammed little 1,000 square foot space. Our old office was 650 square feet.
Wow.
It was just like a tiny little suite. It's like this room almost. And so that's why I just never accept no for an answer, right? It never hurts to ask. Worst you're going to get is a no, which puts you in no worse of a space than you're in right now before you ask somebody. And I guess this is just an example of perseverance, asking questions, making friends, right? We wouldn't have this building if we didn't make friends with the realtor, the owner, the person at the SBA, the bank, our insurance rep, you know, everybody. We brought them we bought them lunch, and you ask them how they're doing, and you stay in touch, and you're persistent. And this was not given to us, right? We didn't get this because our family has money and we used it to invest in a company we own. I started all my businesses from nothing. My first business I started was with $20 in my bank account, and I had to borrow money from a friend to make my first flyers that I was putting under people's windshield wipers. So, I mean, this all came from that. When I started this journey at 22 years old, I just haven't stopped. And I guess that's what I'd really like to point out, is that anything's possible. And it's literally about, like we said downstairs, it's not how much you know, it's how well you can learn. It's how well you can make friends. And that's really it. So, I mean, if you're ever out there and if you're thinking like, wow, I'd love to do something like that someday, go do it, right? Go start making friends, shaking hands with the people that can open the doors you need opened. And you'd be amazed what can happen.
Yep. Be consistent, be passionate. Those two things matter a whole lot.
It really does. It really does, man. Yeah. And it's just, people will get you anywhere in life. Your friends can help you do anything.
Yep, absolutely. So the last two things I want to touch on before we get out of here is, one, we're going to hit the giveaway last here in just a second. But the next one is, next week we are going to have Jill in studio. We're going to get to know Jill, who is recently, that you guys a couple weeks ago now, right? Got married.
Back in May, yep.
Yeah, so cool. So what are some things that that people can look forward to about getting to know Jill?
I mean, aside from the fact that she's drop dead gorgeous and she's never bad to just, you know, she's engaging, right? When she's talking to you about the stuff that she knows, she's passionate. Like, she really is. Like, she knows her stuff. She's just, you know, the passion of what she does really, I think, comes through in whenever she talks about it. But One of the things that I think will be really cool for people is almost anyone who interacts with our customer service email, a question about an order or anything else, you're most likely talking to Jill. And so it'll be great to put a face to the name, just like we've done here. And I think people will get a really cool just understanding of what she does, how she does it. And I think if you already appreciate our kind of, bootstrap sort of handmade approach to things, you'll really love hearing Jill talk about it, right? She doesn't do anything in a vacuum. She does lots of research. She does lots of collaboration with testing. So you'll understand her formulation process, her creative process, and a bit about, the reasons why certain things exist in our product line the way they do, and get the chance to ask questions to the chef herself.
Right. Absolutely. And Brian, thank you for saying that. You won't be able to make it, but he'll watch the replay. These videos live on forever. We know that some people can catch it during lunch break, but can't stay the whole time. Maybe that something comes up and they can't come. Just watch the video. And then one major way you guys can help out is by leaving a comment if you go back and watch in the future. Being live is always the best. We love that, having the people here asking questions, giving feedback. But if you come back afterwards and you watch, man, that would be absolutely amazing.
Bearded Vato, you got to point out my son's name is Jack. So whenever I'm going somewhere, I say I'm picking up Jack and Jill and we're going to blah. So we do have that basically completed. We have Jack and Jill in the building.
Yes. And Jill, we prefer that you do not grow out a beard for next week.
No, ma'am.
To each their own, but you asked, and we will say no. Yeah, we will
Hard
say no
no.
there. All right, so I'm going to put the giveaway link in the chat one more time, you guys. If you signed up already, you're all set. If you have not, click the link, put your name and email. Got to be here, got to be subscribed. But Nick, touch on it real quick. Now that they saw the wood shop, what is your envision of this giveaway that somebody's going to get that'll ship out on Monday?
So Dr. Nick's and some of its new products were the reason the wood shop was able to justify the investment in a CNC machine. I wanted the very first project that comes off that CNC machine to go to a Dr. Nick's customer. It was super duper important for me. That way you can say you literally had the first thing that we made for Dr. Nick's in our wood shop with our new CNC. You own it.
So cool.
And I wanted to give it away. And so that's super important. And I think another thing that'll be a little unique about this giveaway is obviously it's going to have a butter, a balm, and an oil. Our butter is unscented. It only comes in one unscented formulation. We will let you select the balm and the oil that is included in the giveaway. So once we get your email, we get your shipping address. We'll also ask you for which balm and which oil you'd like. And you get to take your pick, and we'll include that in the giveaway. So it's going to be super cool. Awesome.
So it looks like we have almost everybody entered that wanted to enter, you guys. And again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening. One of my major jobs and one of my major goals with this company is just getting them out to as many people as possible. I want you guys to know Nick. I want you guys to know Jill. I want you to know the process. I mean, we talk about transparency. You just saw every bit of their facility. Think about how common that is, from the place that the products are made to where they're shipped to the other aspects of it. That's pretty amazing to literally open up the doors for you guys to see what's going on there. So my job is showing you guys this. If you guys ever want to see something, if you guys ever have ideas, please reach out to me. You can get a hold of me through the Dr. Nick's Instagram, or most of you know my Instagram at DancyBearded. But I'm always up to ideas. We are here for you. Nick also takes pride in adjusting to what you guys want, adjusting to what you guys need. As he says, we do not work in a vacuum. We do not create things and say, this is how it's going to be. You guys adjust to it. We want to hear from you. So keep ideas coming, keep reaching out. We welcome that. We embrace it. It's just who this company is.
Absolutely, man. That's it.
All right, so we have our potential winner. I believe they are here. Actually, I know they are here. So let's see if they are here. If you are, drop a comment to claim your victory, and then this is going to be yours. Jill will reach out to you to get your shipping address and your government name. If this is not your government name, you never want to assume there. Do we have, for this giveaway win, Mr. Judd Skelton? And it's not Jude. He gets very angry if you call him Jude. It is Judd Skelton. Are you out there, guys? Thank you, Jill. Nobody else was giving me love on the Destiny's Child singing last night, but I appreciate you showing me some love.
I think that made Jill's night.
Oh yeah, it just came out. Like there was no, I don't know where it came from, but sometimes you just gotta sing. All right. Woohoo.
right.
It's me. Awesome,
All
Judd.
right.
You have won, my man. Congratulations. Jill, I will put the information as always on that winner's document. I shared it to your email and to the teams. Oh, she's already on there. Don't even have to tell her. Come on, Dan. She know. Come on, Dan. Have a little trust. Awesome.
Judd, congratulations, man. I know you're going to love this. It's going to be fantastic. I love the photo, too, with your girl pulling on your beard there. That's great.
Yeah. It's so awesome. So
Gotta love
awesome.
the beard love.
Yep. And if anybody enjoyed this, right, James was giving great comments. Brian was giving great comments. If you feel like, hey, man, people need to see this episode. People need to learn about this company and see that facility tour. Share it on your Instagram. You can just put a picture and then put a link on there. It takes you guys just a matter of seconds. And it's cool to show, right? And maybe it even elevates the industry. Maybe people see that, get ideas, get inspiration, right? We all get better together as we grow, and especially in this little infant baby of an industry right now. So if this is something where you felt compelled that other people need to see this, share it. Do whatever you can. We appreciate it all. Nick, going to give final words to you before we hop out of here today.
Oh, man. You know, I started this off thinking I was going to feel a little violated, but instead I feel like I just showed everybody like all the coolest toys in my toy box. You know, it was kind of like one of those show and tell moments. So this was awesome, guys. We're glad to have you. Thanks for coming. Welcome. No need to bring appetizers next time. The table's full of them downstairs. But no, this was great. Thanks so much for coming along with the journey, guys. And, you know, like Dan said, share it. And, you know, we look forward to seeing you soon.
Absolutely. Keep reaching out if you guys need anything. Have a great day and a great rest of your week.